So this individual here is lighting up his pipe, his marijuana, celebrating the new year by having a puff. And I'm saying like, okay. Now I don't understand why we're having a discussion about drugs. Well, let's legalize marijuana and cocaine and crack and all that, and heroin and so forth. Get tax money and so forth and so on. And I mean, that's something like a discussion for a third world, backward country. But here in an advanced country, where education is supposed to be sort of widespread and available, folks are talking like this. Now, as a teacher, I recall in many situations you're trying to explain things to students and they're not getting it. Don't mind how you say, don't mind if the friends show them that they can't get it. And generally, if you pursue it, you'll discover that they've been using drugs and alcohol from early. So already their brains are kind of tarnished. Um, Before getting into how marijuana is made and cocaine and all that, as plants and animals, we're animals as opposed to plants. We have a different type of cell structure. And that plants, you could see a definite wall, and here's a cell. But with humans, it's not like that. It's more like a marshland swamp. Here you see some moss, here you see some water, but there's no distinct like here's a section of the marsh. It's just one big marsh. And I think it has to do with the type of system we have. Now we have capillaries, we have blood vessels, we have a heart and lungs and so on. And these two are assisted by the way our cell structures are, so that there aren't walls that will cause problems with the veins and the arteries and the capillaries passing through them. Because I don't think it's going to be possible to pass through that impermeable wall. It doesn't lend to osmosis real good, it seems. And the plant basically does photosynthesis. It has the phylum and the xylem. The phylum taking the food up from the leaves to the roots or to the fruit on the tree, while the xylem is taking the water from the earth up to the leaves to do the photosynthesis, and then some to the stomata for transpiration and food to be completed. And so, with using drugs, this is a chemical. Now, people say that marijuana is natural, God made it, and so forth, and that's not true. There are a lot of things in this world that God had not made. He did make the basic of life. It's like the Chihuahua dog, these miniaturized dogs. He never created those, but he created bigger dogs. People inbred them to the extent where they became dwarfs. And they start breeding for the dwarfness. The ones that are tall, they ignore those. The ones that are short, they keep breeding them until they get these puny dogs. And I don't understand the health of the dogs. He said, I'm not going to go there. Right? And so when he had finished his creation, he said everything was good. He said you can eat of everything else except these two trees here. This one is the tree of knowledge, and this is the one that's going to give you eternal life. Right? And so poisonous fruits, roses with thorns, foul-smelling ones, these were created by the people after the flood and before the flood. They spent the hundreds of years of their lives, and every day they're evil and they're trying to hurt people and develop evil stuff. And so they start mixing different plants around thorns game and this game and so on. So it's when we do even today, budding and trying to create a variety of plants, we don't even understand all the substances we create, and perhaps these are some of the things that harm us. Health science organizations can't really track it down. It's only God could see damage that it might be doing to humans. Now, marijuana, I don't think he made the plant, but mixing of something, it came around and so on, and people started discovering that the smoke you get high, tobacco and all that. I don't think he made it. Coca, I don't think he made it. But my understanding is that because marijuana has to be transported and shipped and so on, they normally soak it in for how there's a thing that they call formaldehyde or something like that, but it's embalming fluid. I recall as a child, my friend father had a tannery, and he would take the cow skins and put it in his barrel, and then it started to smell in bad and so forth, and then of course it turns into leather, so that it then became leather, and this is what the embalming fluid is supposed to do. The Egyptian maybe invented it or whatever, so that the human body could endure and be mummified and so on. And they soak the marijuana in this formaldehyde or in this embalming fluid so that it could last longer. So that when you're smoking it, you're not only smoking the is it THC or whatever's in the chemicals in it, but also this formaldehyde, this embalming fluid. So you can harm yourself. So like I said, maybe locally grown marijuana is better because he said his uncle used to be smoking local grown marijuana and it didn't affect him. So I mean I know it's a chemical and apart from this formaldehyde, there is a chemical and it gives a certain type of sensation to the body, high, etc. So this other guy said he must be smoking the right thing, he must be smoking something else because even though it's local, it has its chemicals that are going to give you an altered mental state, physical state. And then when they add on the formaldehyde, there's a different type of side effect. Now, my understanding about cocaine, it would take 100 pounds of coca leaf to make 1 pound of cocaine. But to get in a cake, they have to do different things. And, or in trying to make it from the pure state to dilute it or whichever, somewhere in there, they use gasoline or kerosene oil, they use ammonia, and they also use baking soda. Now, um, ammonia is that chemical when you're using it, you have to open your house because it could cause you to faint or something like that. Serious, health problems. I don't know if what eating baking soda could do because we eat it in bread and other, types of flour concoctions. But you talk about kerosene oil or gasoline, and even though the smell might not be gone, and even though it might not be active, it still has that